Have you ever daydreamed? Oh, sure you have. What a silly question. But I have to get your attention some way, don't I was sitting at my desk daydreaming the early part of this week, and I thought to myself, I wonder how many times I have said amen in my life. Ooh, hundreds and hundreds of times I have said amen. And when I was growing up, we said amen at the end of every long prayer and every long song. And the amen was very welcome, because it seemed like we're done now. And so it's a little like, remember when trains had a caboose? Yeah, it was a little bit like looking way down the track and seeing the caboose and saying, ah, here comes the end of the train. Right, well, that's what amen was to me. It was just the end. It was a formal ending to something. It really didn't have any meaning. We did it kind of out of habit, and that was it. But when I came to Unity and to this New Thought way of thinking, I began to see that there was a different meaning to amen. And here we connected to a song of affirmation. And this song says that there is just one presence, just one power in this world, and it's in my life, it's with me each and every hour. So amen felt good. And I wanted to sing it and sing it. So let's. Can we just sing amen? Something more to it than feeling good, because we know that amen means it is true. This is the truth, and so it is. So whatever we connect it to, this is our truth. Whatever we say amen to, we could connect it to any sacred song, and that would be our truth. But there's even more to it than that. When we go back to the beginning of our Bible, to the first chapter in Genesis, and we see that this is the creation process. And in this, if you read it, you will see that God did so-and-so. And then there was the statement, and it was so. So after every step of creation came the statement, it was so. And in the original Hebrew, it was so was written as amen. So you see, there's more to this than we realize. That this amen is a very forceful, powerful word, one of the most powerful in the Bible. Because it means that we not only are saying what is true, but we are seeing beyond to another realm. We are seeing to that spiritual realm in which we draw our power. So let me give you an example, one that Jesus gave us. In John the 4th chapter, I think Jesus always indicated that we spend a lot of time dwelling on the physical, when we really would do ourselves a favor if we would dwell more on the spiritual. And so his disciples, I don't think they ever got it. I really, truly think that they were these people who were Jesus explained to them over and over again. And here it is in this story where they were saying to him, Rabbi, eat. They must have thought he was hungry, so eat. And he said, I have food to eat that you know not of. And so instead of going to a higher place, they went right back to the physical, and they started talking among them, and they said, is he getting food from somewhere else that we don't know anything about? And he said, my food is to do the will of him who sent me. That I am here to accomplish that work. That's my food. That's my passion. That is what nourishes me. That's what keeps me going. And then he gave them an example of a field of grain. And he said, now, you look at this field of grain, and with your emphasis on the physical, do you not say that this field has 4 more months yet to harvest? But I tell you, lift your eyes, raise your consciousness, think in a higher way. Go to the spiritual realm and see that this field is already white with harvest. It's ready. In the spiritual realm, this is already done. It's already there for us. And all we have to do is claim it. So I want to give you a little example of my own. I'm in the process of cleaning out my room. It's my office/studio at home. Now you might think to yourself, well, that sure must be easy. No, it's not. That is a daunting task. It's filled with stuff, first of all, and everything has to be gone through. And then decisions have to be made. You know, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to just throw it away? Am I going to give it away? And so the decisions go on and on. There's piles of this and piles of that. But here's the thing that makes it really wonderful. That I can see it done. I visualize what this room is going to be. And it is done. That's what Jesus was talking about. This power that we have that comes from Spirit, this power of visualization. And so I say to you that if there is something in front of you that you find daunting, try it. And your dreams, try it. We have dreams. We want these dreams to come into our reality. Then visualize that they're already there. Friday night, we had our volunteer appreciation dinner. And we had several of you come, but then several of you weren't there either. And we missed you. We missed honoring you. And you missed good food and good people and a good film, a fun film, the fish film. How many have seen it? Aha, several of you. Do you know, I could see that film every week. I think it's so funny and so full of good things. So it was filmed at Pike Place Fish Market in Seattle. And Del and I have been there. And I had my picture taken with one of these nice young men who was always smiling and throwing fish. That's what they do there. They throw fish. So when somebody gives an order, I guess how this all started was that they would repeat the order. They would yell it across the fish market, and then all the other guys, 8 other voices, would chime in and repeat that same order. Well, that alone is funny. And people standing all around would be so entertained by these men who just had such a good time throwing fish. They valued the customer. They valued all the people who were standing around there, whether they were buying or not. It didn't make any difference to them. There were people that came out of the offices at noon. They call them the yogurt bunch because they had their yogurt, and they made fun of them in a very nice way, and everybody thought it was just a wonderful thing. And so it was just plain fun. And in that fun, they found out there was much more productivity. But underneath it all, there was a lesson. And when they interviewed each one of these men, the lesson came forward. Your day will be the way you choose it to be. If you want to have fun at work, if you want to choose it that way, it will be that way for you. They didn't say that they were drawing from this invisible realm, but of course they were doing that. Because if we didn't have that invisible realm to draw on, where do you think we'd get our power? That's where your power is. This invisible realm that Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. We have a foot in both of those realms, the physical and the kingdom of heaven at the same time. And to make this life wonderful, this physical life, we draw from that invisible realm, and we do it all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. But here's my point. Let's do it consciously. Let's make this life a wonderful one. You want a great day? Well, you have the power to say, this is a great day. It is truly a great day. So I have another thing concerning work that also comes from Jesus. In his time, the Roman soldiers could force people to carry burdens. The soldiers' burdens. See, the people were subject to these soldiers, and so they had to do it. And they carried those burdens for 1 mile. They didn't like it. They were treated as slaves. So Jesus makes a wonderful recommendation, an uncommon sense way of dealing with this, of breaking the bonds of enslavement. And he said, yes, you're required to do this, but act as if you enjoy it, and you will break the bonds. So now, a little modern story that just came to my attention is this man used to go to this restaurant, and, well, he thought the waitresses could have used a little perking up. And so one day when he went in, he was told that the policy was now that all the waitresses were to smile. They had to smile. And if they were caught not smiling at the customers, they were discharged immediately. So he said it wasn't the most pleasant thing to be in there. Actually, it was more pleasant before, when they didn't smile. Because he said, now they had this forced mechanical smile on their face, and it was phony. And he said, I knew that they were doing it out of fear that they might lose their job. But there was one. She was actually beaming. And so he said, I spoke to her afterward, and I said, what makes you different from the rest? You all have to smile. And she said, yes, we all do. But I discovered that there is like an invisible barrier. And when I cross that barrier and I act as if I enjoy smiling, everything changes for me. And I find that the smiles I give are genuine, and the smiles I get back, they just make my day. So you see what Jesus was saying? That first mile, that's required. That probably brings the paycheck, but it doesn't take you to abundant living. But the second mile, when you cross that barrier and you act as if you enjoy it, it brings a whole new meaning to what you're doing. That's where real satisfaction comes in living. To act as if you enjoy it, and then that is the way it will be for you. Amen. That is the way it will be for you. And so what he's saying there is that this giving, The more that we give of ourselves, the more we get back, the more we receive. And so this amen then is to the choice that we make of giving and the graciousness that comes with receiving. This whole idea of amen just struck me so deeply, that there are so many aspects to it. You know, in the front of Daily Word, are you aware, how many know about Daily Word, first of all? Okay, almost all of you, you know that this is Unity's little booklet that has a daily word for every day, and we read that on Sunday. And so every day, I would suggest you open that little booklet and you read the word for the day, and you walk out the door with that. I guarantee it'll change your day. Amen. 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 Yeah, well, and so in the front of the daily word, there's always a little story about someone who has a tremendous challenge, someone who is determined to find the answer. And they know because it is in the daily word, then they're going to find the answer with Spirit. And so I tear out some of those and I keep them because I think, well, I'll use those someday. And I came across one that just touched my heart so. And I saved it. But do you think then I could find it? No, I put it in this place. You know where that place is? It's safekeeping. We're always going to be able to find it, but we can't. But I had read it enough times, so I just tell it to you. It's so beautiful. So this man, and of course I don't recall his name, but he was severely injured in an explosion. And he had lost his sight due to that explosion, and also the use of his hands. So Braille was out of the question for him. And the tragedy to him was that he had just gotten into New Thought. He had just become acquainted with the metaphysical way, and he wanted to read all kinds of books from Eric Butterworth, Wayne Dyer, and all these wonderful authors, and now he couldn't. He also wanted to read the Bible because he knew that there was another way to interpret it, and he was so excited, but he couldn't. Then he heard about a woman in England who read Braille with her lips, and he thought, that's for me. I can do that. So he ordered all the books, including the Bible, and he's going to read now, and he finds that he can't. Because his lips, the nerves in his lips have been damaged by the explosion. But in the process of trying, he finds that he can read with his tongue. That is how he reads, with his tongue. And somewhere in this article he said, I knew that Spirit and I would find a solution, and we did. So that man was saying amen to Spirit and the power that Spirit gave him, and his perseverance that would not let him give up. Can you imagine how many times he was saying, I think I might as well just give up, oh, poor me. But he didn't. He didn't. He was saying amen to faith and power. So can you see that amen is a lot more than we thought it was? That we are able to pull from this wonderful, invisible realm. We can draw from that and we can bring things into this visible form. It's a miracle, really. And yet, what's a miracle? It's just something that we don't understand as yet. But it's natural. So I have an insight for you. What Spirit has done, Spirit can do again. And again, and again, and again. I love reading all these examples of these marvelous people and the great things that they have done and the solutions that they have found, because what that says to me, if Spirit has done it through them, Spirit can do it through me. I might not have the same challenge they do, but any challenge that I have, Spirit can work through me. You ready for another insight? Okay. Our chief responsibility in this life, our chief responsibility is to act our divinity, to act the part of our divinity, and to say amen to all the wonders of Spirit that live within us. That's our truth. And we are to live our truth. That truly is our responsibility. So I have one more. I want to close with this one. And this is fun. It was 1932, and these two people, Ted and Dorothy, they didn't have much money, and they lived in this little town that wasn't a rich town at all. People didn't have much money. But these two people decided, because they had gotten this idea, you see, there's something about these two people that they believed in something beyond themselves. And they knew that if they had an idea, a strong desire, a passion, that it had come from Spirit. And so that strong desire and passion was to open a drugstore. And they did. And it was quite successful in the beginning, and then something happened in the area. The grasshoppers came and ate the crops. And there was this long drought, and temperatures soared. I guess for weeks and weeks, the temperatures were well over 100 degrees, and nobody came to the drugstore. So the thought crossed their minds that they might have to close. This wasn't working. And right after that, the thought came, no, that's not right, because we got this idea from Spirit. It can work. And so the idea came to them that they were going to advertise. They were going to advertise water, ice water. And so in a 25-mile radius of their drugstore, they went out and they put signs. 25 miles to Wall Drugstore, and you will receive ice water. And then at the 15-mile radius, they did the same thing. Now, 15 miles to Wall Drugstore, where you can receive free ice water. And then 5 miles, and the sign said, hold on, 5 miles to Wall Drugstore, where you can receive ice water. And people came. They came. And now on any day, any busy day, I'm sure that many of you have been to Wall Drug. I have, several times. And they say that probably upward of 15,000 people go through that store every day. All because they said amen to an idea from Spirit, that they could be successful. That they actually had the belief and the faith that they could be successful. And then to top it all off, you know what they did? They went to Albany, New York, and they put up a sign that says 1,725 miles to Wall Drugstore, where you can receive free ice water. I love examples like that. It's so beautiful. But what it tells us is that that's available to all of us. That we can say amen. You see, amen isn't the end of something. It's the beginning of something. It's the beginning of us seeing beyond this world of appearance and seeing into the realm from which we can draw success, Well, all the qualities of Spirit, all the wonders, life, love, peace, joy, new ideas, possibilities. All these we can draw from Spirit, and many more things too. That's our truth. And so we say amen to our truth and to living in a successful way. Namaste.